Credit cards can be super dangerous. Yeah, so tread really cautiously prior to getting one. Start with something with a really low limit and learn how to use it. Learn how to spend the money, pay it back each month. It's not a line of credit. It's not something to leave debt on. If you look at the numbers on having a balance on a credit card and making the minimum repayment and how long it would take to pay it off, you're talking 45 years, 60 years. It's just ridiculous.
And to break that down, so when you get a credit card, they tell you, the minimum payment you have to make to pay this off is X amount.
Yeah.
And they tell you the minimum payment. And if you realistically, you want to pay a lot more than that so you can pay it off quicker. But you're saying if you hit the minimum payments, it can take you decades.
It will now say that on your statement, how many decades it will take for you to pay off your card on a minimum repayment. So that's been introduced.
Wow.
But you need to clear it every month. You put the debt on, you clear it every month.
So building that habit.
Yeah, if there may be a month or two where an unexpected bill comes up, you've been sick or injured, the car breaks down and you have to roll it over for a couple of months, but it can't be a habit of leaving debt sitting on a credit card. So, back to it, I think you can only control how much you earn so much. If you're in a certain industry, they earn more than others. Other industries earn less. You may be really new in your career and you've still got to cut your teeth, do your time on lower wages. But what you do have a lot of control over is your spending habits and what you're wasting your money on. I hate the fact that things like a car is considered an asset. Like, why is something an asset if I buy it for 30 grand and in 10 years time it's worth $1,000?
Yeah.
That's a terrible asset. Like, who's going to invest in that? So it's not an asset. It's a mode of transportation. It costs you money every time you put it on the road. And just understand that if you can take that cash, use that in a more effective and a real asset like property or shares, then the outcome in 10 years time is going to be a lot better.
And you can get cheap cars. Like I just got a Subaru Forester. It's like my dream. It's the best car. It has everything. It was like 10 grand, and like that's amazing. You know, how much was that brand new? Probably 50 or 60.
Yeah.
So you can get amazing cars really cheap.
Yeah.
I guess the problem is when it's, you know, in that situation, it was from just a personal guy on car sales, so I can't get a loan for it. Or you can, but it's a lot more expensive when it's not a brand new loan because it's not an asset. You know, it's just a personal loan. It's not a car loan. But yeah, I just don't think there's any excuse to be getting a brand new car unless, you know, you're really balling or something.
I think it's about living within your means, and not working out where you want to be next year, but maybe where you want to be in 10 or 15 years time, and setting your plan and your purchases based on that.
But also, if, you know, for the price, you could travel for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is a much wiser investment because when you travel, you learn, you get experiences, you get introduced to new cultures, you might meet someone, you might meet people who build your network and you get a job through it. Like, there's so much more opportunities than getting just a nicer thing that gets you from A to B.
Yeah. Again, though, it could be, if it's your vice, it's your vice.
Yeah.
I get that. But just, they're things to look out for sure.
Yeah, and everyone's got their thing. You know, you might be a car person, you might be shopping for clothes every weekend. You might be a tech person. That's probably me. I like, you know, whatever Apple's bringing out or whatever that is. And even I noticed, like, I have one credit card, and that was for when I started the business for Apple to get a laptop because I couldn't afford that and I needed something. And Apple offered 18 months interest free. I was like, you beauty. This is fantastic. And I paid that off within 18 months. But once again, you know, Apple give you the minimum payment. That's not going to pay off in 18 months if you do the minimum payment. It's like, and that's where they get you on the interest. But just having that, like, I'll often go in and say, I want a new monitor or something. I'll just buy it because I can get it.
Because you've got access to that
exactly.
facility.
And I'm like, this year I can't. I got to stop doing that. I want to pay it off fully because I keep getting down and then I'll go back up. I keep getting down and go back up. So it probably sounds hypocritical because I'm talking about we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's a small amount of money, but I'm noticing it and I'm like, okay, geez. So but that's the only, I can only spend it at Apple, which is probably good.
Yeah.
Like,
it is funny. We've got that expectation now that we need to have 1 or 2 TVs. We've got to have a phone, a laptop.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that kind of 15, 20 years ago. You didn't need to have all those electronics and consumables that you're changing over every 18 months. But well, now you do.
That's what I mean by, like, you know, we have to deal with all this new technology coming out, constantly changing, which is, we've probably got more expenses than previous generations, which is our own fault, just because we want the latest iPhone, we want this, that, whatever it is, when we don't need it And once again, I have the latest iPhone. So, I mean, but that's my thing. I don't buy clothes. For me, when we were talking about before, pay yourself first, the way I see it is I pay myself for savings, and then I've got expenses, and then I've got splurge, which is fun money.
Yeah.
It's like $50 a week or something, not much. But that I often won't spend it for weeks, and I'll be like, and the whole point of that is you have to spend it on fun stuff, going out, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And then the rest is just kind of leftover. It's like bonus. That's the way I see it. And that's the way I kind of think about it as my mindset. Like, that's just bonus.
And that's the message. Again, it's just balance, right? It doesn't have to. I'm not saying Scrooge it all away and don't spend a cent. Just find a fair balance.
So we mentioned cars. What else do you think are big financial mistakes younger people are making? Would we say travel is one of them?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I haven't mentioned travel. I guess being conscious of what you're spending on travel and again, finding a good balance. Do you need to do 6 months in Europe? Could you do a couple of weeks in Thailand instead? I don't know. Again, people have different vices. So I don't want to tell people how to use their money. If they want to do it, they want to do it. But yeah, there's some great benefits to traveling as well. But again, just finding a balance and how you spend your money is completely up to you. But just being conscious of if you have those real big term goals, if you want to have a property by 25, if you want to retire by 40, you can't go and spend $15,000 on travel in a year and expect to get there. You just can't do it. So,
because you're not earning while you're traveling.
That's right.
So it's $15,000 of travel, but it's also 6 months of no income.
Wage.
Yeah. So it's probably more like $30,000 worth of. But once again, priorities. So I let's not classify travel as a expense people are making. What else do we see young people, big mistakes they're making that could affect?
Just anything that's consumable that you got easy access to. Things like we have a lot of subscription based items now that we didn't have before, and they do add up. Like, do you need 5 streaming services? Can you have one? Can you have 2? Right?
I think we split it. My family, we only pay for one each, and then we share it.
That's it. There's plenty of tricks around. But they're the sort of things that can creep up. Do you need $100 a week gym membership? Would a $20 a week gym membership do something similar? We start to add up all these bills, and we add them up over a year or 18 months. We're starting to work towards a decent deposit here.
It's hard as well because, like, stuff like F45. I don't know if you know F45. Yeah. Like, F45 is fantastic. It's like $70 a week. It's just phenomenally expensive. I was blown away. I was like, holy crap. But, if all your friends are going there, it's a great social place. It's great for working out, and you can kind of justify it. Then yeah, sure. But like, that stuff adds up, as you mentioned. And I've just, as a business owner, I've got so many subscriptions as my business. I've got, Xero, accounting software. You got project management software. I got Dropbox, Google. I think I've got like $500 a month just in like subscriptions alone, and like that stuff adds up.
And add up slowly.
Real slowly.
It's $6 here, it's $10 here, it's $30 here, and then all of a sudden you're at your $500 a month worth of expenses and wondering where that cash flow is going.
Yeah, so, but that comes back to your budgeting tool.
That's right.
So that's where if we can use. So I don't actually use a budgeting tool like that for my business. I do, but not for my personal. I've just kind of mentally got it. But that sounds like a great tip.
Just print out your transaction statements. They don't lie. They don't lie.
They're brutally
print them
honest.
out for 3 months and sit there with a highlighter and say, where's my money actually going? What am I allocating? What do I think I'm allocating towards food, and what am I actually allocating?
Yeah, right.
What do I think I'm spending on entertainment, and what is actually coming out? So it is an interesting exercise. It doesn't take long. It would take you an hour to look through your statements. It'll take you half an hour to fill out a budget, and it will be really interesting. I doubt very many people would get their budget compared to what the actual figures
what they actually thought it was.
Yeah,
great.